talking about the senior project speech. This is 2012 fall fall semester. So if it is possible that things have changed, if that is true, check with your teacher and we can see what has changed, if things have been added, if things have been taken away. So, since this is the second part, we are going to talk about the job probability outlook through the conclusion. In the job probability outlook, you are looking at um, basically your job outlook essay, the salary, benefits, and viability of the career. To begin with, you have the salary. How much are you making hourly? That may that may be something you want to talk about, that may not. One thing you definitely do want to talk about is going to be your annual salary, because the annual salary is going to impact how much you can afford to do things outside of your job. And that's something that I would talk about. Because if you're making $18,000 a year, you may have to work multiple jobs. Whereas if you're making between 60,000 and over that, it's very possible that you can take vacations, that you can do things that other people in other careers cannot. So that's something you can talk about when you talk about the salary. When we look at the benefits, that is going to be paid time off, insurance, and anything else that you talked about in the benefits column within your job outlook essay. Viability of career. Is the career something that's taking off right now? Is it something that's tanking? I know my wife worked in the construction field, and the construction field has gone through a double dip recession. So, therefore, right now, the construction field isn't something that is doing very well. Whereas there are other fields that are booming right now. So, those are very viable. So, that's what you want to talk about. Is a career going to be around in 10 years? Uh, are companies downsizing? Are they hiring more people? That's the viability of the career. Next up is your job shadowing. I want you to look at the mentor, the position, the place of employment, and the description of the shadowing and learning. To begin with, you're going to actually say who your mentor was. Some of you in your essays decided that you did not need the first and last name. For this, it would be important that you have that, especially because if I talk about John, who is John? Whereas if I talk about John Smith from this company, they can look that person up and they know who that is. The position. Is this person somebody that just started there? Is this person somebody that is a senior member of that firm? That's going to be important because that will actually let us know a little bit more about what you actually learned while you were there. Because if you looked at someone that just started at the job, then you would not have learned as much as if you had shadowed the CEO. Place of employment. This is going to be the actual location that you went to. Also, the company's name. So if the company is at multiple different places, especially you DNR people, because I know the Department of Natural Resources, the scope of that job takes you lots of different places. So I would actually want to know what locations were you at. If you were at a certain forest, if you were at, um, if you went around to different schools, that's the place of employment here. So you need the name of the job and also where you went. Description of shadowing and learning. I want you to look at what did you learn from this experience. I know some of you struggled with this experience because you felt that it didn't necessarily match up with what you needed to do. One of the things that I thought went really well, there was a pediatrician, someone who wants to go into pediatrics, and I suggested that she shadow an elementary teacher. And she went and she found out that the kids hurt themselves a lot. And she found out that working with these kids and making sure that they were safe and just being around the children was helpful for her. So it doesn't necessarily foreshadowing. If you can't find the job that you need when you shadow, make the best out of what you have. Because if you don't make the best out of what you have, you won't learn anything, and that experience was basically a waste of your time and my time. So, in the future, if you do something like this, let's make sure that you make the best out of it. Description of shadowing and learning we discussed already. Moving on to the conclusion. Decision about the career. Are you going to continue looking into this job? If so, what made you decide that? Did this project actually impact your decision? If it did, how? Because I've talked to several of you, and some of you have decided this is something that you do want to do now, and I've talked to some of you, and this is something you do not want to do. And some of you that do not want to do this, I thought it was really awesome that you found that out in high school because of this procedure of the senior project, and you're not going to waste your time in the future. So that's something that you're going to discuss with the decision about the career. Your future plans. What are you going to do next? Are you going to go to college? Are you going to get a bachelor's, a master's, a PhD, etc.? And that's going to be based upon the research that you have done. That will tell you, yes, I need to do this. No, I do not. Because some of you don't need to go to college for the career that you're in, but going to college will give you a leg up over some of the other people that do not go to college. Keep that in mind, please. Benefits of the project. What did you learn from the entire process of this? Now, one thing that I would suggest is if there has been frustration about on your part about the way that the senior project has been done, think about a way that you can learn from this. Don't just take a negative from that, because I've learned from this process as well, and I've found better ways of teaching the senior project. One of those is creating these videos. And so, sorry about the phone. One thing that you need to look at is, did this project actually help you? Okay, so I'll discuss that later. The phone is causing too many problems, and I'm 8.5 minutes in. Yes, this is the way I talk. Thank you. Bye.